Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this masterclass on Introduction to the Hospitality Industry by the Job Plus. Before we begin, I want to say a few words about SWAYAM Plus. SWAYAM Plus is an initiative by the Ministry of Education and IIT Madras. We are an industry and employability focused skilling platform to help learners upskill themselves and become more employable. In this regard, we are hosting a series of masterclasses so learners can hear directly from experts on what is happening in industry. This is a starting point for your transition from academia to industry. Your speakers for today are Mr. Shunit Roy, hospitality management expert from the Job Plus, formerly with Marriott Hotels, and Ms. Swati Singh, hospitality management expert from the Job Plus, formerly with Oberoi Hotels. Over to you, Mr. Shunit and Ms. Swati.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute honor to be here and actually showcase a little synopsis of the hospitality industry to anyone who's interested. We're very happy that there are people who are interested, and from the Job Plus side, it has been our commitment to help people into this industry and help them grow as well. So we what we've prepared today is a little bit of an introduction into the hospitality industry. What we're going to showcase essentially is small bits on what the hospitality industry is, because the largest share of it is on hotels, and especially from a career standpoint, that's the largest share of what exists right now. We're going to talk about the types of hotels, a little one depth in one step in understanding the facilities, services, and departments, and of course the skills needed within the industry. uh, I mean, in and out, will share a little bit from our experiences of where things can be applied, and we hope that whatever we share in this course today will help people who are interested in coming into the industry or people who are exploring a little bit of growth. So just to get started off on the hospitality industry itself, um, it is, I mean, while we look at it as an industry overall right now, it's actually one of the oldest across the world. I mean, even if we're talking about ancient times, there used to be inns and taverns, or in India as it was known as dharmshalas, and these were primarily for anybody who was a traveler. Could be a trader, it could be for religious purposes, it could have been for people who are just exploring foreign lands. And essentially these places would only give two very simple things: room and food. And this is on a global scale, right? So anywhere in the world this concept existed, and over time, of course, it evolved, right? But what we consider as the hospitality industry today, essentially the first hotel, as we look at it, I mean, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, is actually that in is the Hotel Nishiyama Onsen Kyunkan in Japan. This is considered as the most ancient hotel in the world. If you look at India, there are two hotels. Luckily, both are still operational and doing very well. The two oldest hotels are one in Calcutta, which is the Great Eastern Hotel, and the Taj Mahal, which is of course in Mumbai, and it's an absolute icon. So luckily, these two hotels are not just names in a book, but they exist, and they really showcase where India started off with, from the hospitality industry. Of course, thereafter, the hospitality industry has evolved greatly with time, and the standardized hotels are not just a concept. Many different types have come across. But what happened, in the past was that hotels started off similar to what we had seen as just offering rooms and food, but over time it evolved. So, initially they were hotels were in small areas where people were traveling, but with the evolution, they became hotels which were more oriented to leisure or holidays only, what we look at as resorts, right? And so many more destinations opened up. These weren't just only to give food and shelter. It was also to provide a leisurely experience, a lot of entertainment for people. And then, there are certain types of hotels which became more attuned to trade and business oriented. So, they started having things like meeting rooms and conference areas, which were more focused towards a trade and business. And then of course over the last decade in Asia, but prior to that as well, luxury and lifestyle became a huge segment. I mean, we look at the number of people we see on Instagram, looking at in the Maldives, and showing the type of destinations that they're going to. That is the luxury and lifestyle segment, and the type of hotels that you actually have in those places are very different. What they offer, in terms of both facilities and service, it's a very drastic change. So when we're looking at what hotels were initially to what they are now, it's essentially a buffet of experiences that one can get within the hospitality industry. But that's not only where the hospitality is industry is restricted. So the hospitality industry overall is actually quite large. Hotels and resorts are a major segment. Restaurants and what we refer to as F&B, or food and beverage, that also falls within the hospitality industry, as do bars and nightclubs, facilities management, overall travel and tourism, where you could have tour guides or even wildlife trails, things like that, that also falls under travel and tourism. Uh, Wellness and spa, there are a lot of types of organizations, a lot of types of services that fall within the hospitality industry. Events is a huge segment as well. Leisure and recreation facilities, which are your theme parks and facilities like that, also fall under the hospitality industry. And then there are cruises. Now, while these are all a huge wide range of things, within the industry, and they may seem upfront, they may seem very different, they all have certain very key core elements, which is one thing that we're trying to showcase from today's presentation, is that while hotels and resorts, they are a major segment, and if one gets actually trained within that segment, there's a lot that one can do right across all of these subsectors of the industry. But essentially, the hospitality industry has one very key feature, which is service. And that's something, luckily, in India, we pride ourselves on, because we are known for it on a global scale. Uh, just as the to kind of showcase a little bit of reference to what we're looking at, what we'll show you is that like we said, there are many types of hotels, but there are three major standardized varieties, which we'll just show you, and we kind of talk about this and the facilities that uh, typically they offer, because that determines what roles are included within the industry, what skills may be required. So to start off, just as a synopsis, any standard hotel, similar to what we had showcased, accommodation and food services, as basic as it gets, every hotel provides, even an OYO does. Things like housekeeping services and other services like your banquet, spa, gym, this varies, right? It can vary by brand, it can vary by how luxurious it is, and the extent of these services keep changing. In order to provide these services, there are three or four very major departments which take care of the entire service. Number one is the front office, or what at hotels, which we call the rooms department. Front office is the segment that does it. The same thing is applied in, let's say, other subsectors of the industry, like we were saying. So, at a facilities management level, or at, even at cruises, front office are usually the people who interact with guests the first, right? Housekeeping are the people who take care of overall management of hygiene and cleanliness of the entire facility. F&B service are people who deal with the restaurants, bars. They're the ones who are interacting with guests and serving. F&B production are people who prepare the food and even bakery items. These are the four main departments within hotels. The other ones which are listed, whether it's spa, wellness, gym, they do have people working, who specialize in that field and who are really interested in that field. But it's not always a mandatory feature within hotels. Um, Within hotels, there are a number of varieties, like we had shown. So the first and foremost is what we consider the city hotels. So in most cities, and when I say city, it doesn't mean that it has to be only a tier one place. Even let's say smaller towns, which are more business oriented, they are considered as city hotels. Wherever you have a hotel over there, these are they are primarily for business guests, people who come in and out of town, people visiting the city, and sometimes they have the ability to manage conferences and weddings also. uh, these are also properties where you have a lot of locals using the facility. So if as a guest you want to have a family member's wedding over there, uh, that's the place that you'd go to. If you'd like a good meal out, then that's the place you'd go to. So these are within the city, and typically these are the kind of facilities that they offer people. And a few examples of some of the really really well-known hotels in the country. You have, say, the St. Regis in Mumbai, very well known, internationally recognized. You have the JW Marriott in Bangalore. This is also one of the best performing hotels in the country, does very well, very business oriented. You have the Radisson Blue in New Delhi. This is right close to the airport, so it's always packed. It's a very large hotel, very beautifully made as well. And of course, the most iconic Taj Mahal in Bombay, which is a city hotel. It's in the core part of Bombay as well. Uh, the next that we have is a slight variant. So these are resorts, anywhere where it is oriented towards a holiday or a leisure destination. It's primarily for tourists or people on vacations, and sometimes even for special events. So a lot of weddings and events are also held at these destinations, and such properties kind of they aren't used by locals as much. So for example, if you're looking at Goa, right, it's a resort destination. We all go there for a holiday, but you won't see too many local Goan people coming and actually eating at the restaurants over there, or staying a night at the room. It's mostly for outsiders. So the experience is very different from a city hotel to a resort. And these are usually much bigger and wider, like the W at Goa, right? You can see that it's adjacent to the beach. It's more open out. It's more relaxing, so to speak. And then you have a different variant, and this is especially related to India, where you have the Oberoi Villas in Udaipur. This is more palatial. It gives a sense of royalty. You have the Radisson Blue at Cavlosum in Goa. Again, very different experience from the W that we saw. The type of rooms that you'd see, the type of services that you'd get, it differs. And then, of course, JW Golf Shire in Bangalore. Unlike the beach locations that we saw, this is completely inland, but they've created a very different, unique experience where you can go and play golf over there. You can have a relaxed week-long stay, and you'll get the best service, which doesn't make you feel like you're sitting in the middle of the city. And then, of course, the Leela Palace in Jaipur. So a lot of these destinations, I think, with Bangalore aside, they're more holiday oriented, and these type of hotels, they try and capture that. They want you to feel that you are not here just to stay a night. They want you to feel an experience that you are unlikely to feel anywhere else. So the type of service that these kind of places offer is very different. And then the last is serviced apartments. Now, these in India, it's still something which is growing, but on a global scale, there are a number of very well-known brands which do this. This is more for these are more available in cities, and it's more for people who are long-staying guests. So, a lot of times you find people who are shifting city. They've got a new job, let's say abroad, and before they get a flat, their company has put them up for a month or 2 months at a hotel. In such situations, serviced apartments, it's almost like staying in a flat. Some of these flats may be smaller, some may be larger, but there is a service element to it as well, right? So you have the Marriott Executive Apartments in Hyderabad as an example, or the Four Points by Sheraton in Navi Mumbai. I mean, this almost showcases a living room and a bedroom, and it may have a small dining room component as well. This is the Hyatt Andaz in Delhi. While this hotel is not fully related to the serviced apartment, has a section of the hotel which has these facilities as well. Um, So getting one notch deeper into this, when we're looking at specifics of a hotel, what happens is, from all these types there are certain common factors when we're looking at the facilities and the services and who takes care of those services. Where if we showcase a city hotel, right? Any standard city hotel, they all have entrances, and entrances are usually something where you'll see in most cases hotels try to make that a very nice experience to begin with, because that's the first place that a guest walks in and you need them to say wow, right? If they're not happy with that to begin with, the chances of them coming back is very low. So there is a wow factor which a lot of places try to bring in. And the moment you walk in, the first place you're going to see is the lobby. This is where, if you are a guest, you need to check in, check out. You interact with, this is the first time you're actually interacting with people from the hotel. They will initiate the experience that you have at the hotel. You can all There's always seating area over here, and some hotels may even have a small little cafe attached over here, so you can sit leisurely in the lobby and enjoy that as well. Let's assume, we're saying, we're taking you as a guest at this hotel. You've come in, you've kind of walked through the lobby, you've done your check-in, and then you go see your room. Now, hotels usually have multiple types of rooms. These can differ in terms of size, these can differ in terms of what is included within the room, and of course, the amount people pay for this, it varies on that basis as well. In certain cases, it also varies based on what your view is. Like, for example, the Taj in Bombay, right? You get a view of the sea, and then you get a city view on the other side of the building. And there are difference in rates. There are difference in the expectation of guests. So a lot of these hotels take that into account as well, of the type of rooms that they design, and their the level of service that they may offer for them. So you have standard rooms which look like this. They're very straightforward. Most of them will have bed, side tables, one seating area. They'll have a desk. They will definitely have cupboards, somewhere that you can put your luggage, and of course the washroom. And this is a standard room. And then you can also have, in addition to the suites, which are bigger, they have a separate seating room, and it gives a more luxurious experience to guests. When Once you've checked in, you'd like to have a meal, there are a few different types of restaurants that come into play. One is the all day dining. Now, this is something that all hotels have. This is where you would get your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in most cases, you would also get a buffet. So this is an essential part of every hotel, even hotels like Ginger, even hotels like the base category lemon tree hotels. They all have this. So irrespective of however budget a hotel is, or however luxurious a hotel is, this is a facility which is absolutely necessary. And then, the higher the category you go, then the type of restaurants that come into play, they change, right? You get restaurants like a specialty restaurant. Specialty restaurants are somewhere where you would go specifically for Asian food or Italian food, somewhere where they specialize in one thing, and it is something that they're very proud of, and they'll give you a very, very different experience. One of the most prominent examples is probably Bukhara at the ITC. It is so well known globally that there are people who fly in from other countries to experience that, not just the meal, but the overall ambience of the restaurant, the service that they get. And it's a very exceptional. I mean, it's a needle in a haystack as far as the type of restaurants go. It's so well known because of what it is that they offer, and it's so specialized in that field that nobody can replace that. Hotels also have bars and lounges. Not all of them. I think that's also something that happens is, the higher the category, the more luxurious the bars and lounges go. There are some very, very well established hotels like the ITC in Calcutta, for example, which even has a cigar lounge separate. which most places don't have. So it really depends on the type of hotels that the type of luxury and the type of experiences they want to offer. There's a lot of flexibility on this. Some hotels even have nightclubs, but it's not a very common feature. Banquet halls, of course, for weddings, for conferences. Many hotels have large halls, and sometimes smaller halls, medium. Uh, a lot of hotels, especially city hotels, definitely have meeting rooms. This is something which is used very, very frequently. So this is it's an area which a lot of hotels have and retain. um, Gyms, very common, because most guests require, if they're traveling from city to city, and especially if they're traveling a lot, this is something that they prefer. So especially the larger Indian brands and the international brands, this is something that they retain as mandatory. A lot of hotels have swimming pools as well, not a mandatory feature, but again, it depends hotel to hotel. But it is a common facility. An executive lounge. This is a specialized area. So guests who take the high level of rooms, they could be VIPs, they could be celebrities, they could be senior management from companies. When they take these, they get a separate lounge where they get some food and beverage service. They get smaller meeting rooms which are more privatized for them. So some hotels have this facility as well. And then after you've done this entire stay at the hotel, you come back to the lobby. That's where you do your checkout, and you exit the hotel after your stay. Just to recap, when we're looking at the aspects of hotels, we have the rooms where you can have standard room suites and in certain cases apartments. When we're looking at food and beverage, you have an all-day dining definitely, but you do have other components like specialty restaurants or bakeries, or what they consider as grab and go kitchens, where it's a pickup service. There's no service oriented over there. It's pick up, buy, and leave. And then you have on the beverage front of it, you have bars, nightclubs, lounges as well, which come into play. As far as event spaces, as we saw, banquet spaces, meeting rooms, a lot of hotels also have event lawns, which are very big, because sometimes having weddings outside or even having concerts, some hotels do that, events, especially parties, like on the 31st, or certain special occasions, they happen at the event spaces. Spa, gym, swimming pool, these are common facilities. And in some cases, what we've put here as recreation facilities. But let's say, for example, at resorts, the bigger the resort, sometimes the more the recreation facility. Like we showed you at the JW in Golfshire, they have a golf course. Some of them may have basic facilities for a kids club. If there are guests who would like their kids to enjoy separately, they have a kids club. So there are a number of facilities which kind of come into play. What happens is that there are some I mean, what we've tried to showcase is that there are these facilities which are managed by a number of departments, and that there are specific services which are aligned with this. I am going to hand it over to Swati now, since she has exceptional experience both in operations, as well as dealing with students and people who are initiating into this space. So she'd be ideal to kind of showcase from here on about the services, about the skills used, and the departments. Swati?
Thank you so much, Shunit, for giving a very good overview about the hospitality industry. Uh, I mean, I also got a lot of insights, even though I am a hotelier. So I hope it's been interesting for everyone here, the audience. So, taking it ahead from what Shunit just spoke about, facilities and services departments. So, as you know by now, there are various departments in the service hospitality industry. Four or five major ones are front office, housekeeping, kitchen, that is food production, and F&B service. So the rooms division comes under front office and housekeeping purview, and that takes care, they are the first point of contact. As Shunit clearly stated earlier, that lobby is the first thing and the porch is the first area that the customer experience or the guest experiences when they walk inside a hotel. So, as soon as you walk inside a hotel, you see a lot of people standing at the front desk and assisting guests. They are the front office personnel, and they are the ones who will answer any queries that you may have about the facility, about your reservation. So they are your first point of contact. They handle your check-in, they check you out at the time of leaving the hotel. They have concierge service. They have all the city information. They can provide you with what are the things that you must go and see if you are new to the city, if you want to know any new places that you may want to visit, or any shopping places, any eateries apart from the hotel. They are the ones who will assist you with that. Other than that, it comes into picture is the housekeeping personnel, which takes care of the room cleaning, the amenities that are provided in the rooms, as well as the public areas that look spick and span at all times. So that's the function of the front office and housekeeping personnel, and that comes under the rooms division. The other facility that is provided by the hotel is the F&B service. Under F&B service, we have various restaurants which were demonstrated in the previous slide. There are different types of restaurant, all-day dining, specialty restaurant. There are bars, there's cigar rooms in certain cases, and there's executive lounge. So the food is prepared in the kitchen, and the service is done by the F&B service staff. They work hand in hand and help you whenever you go and eat or dine in any of the restaurants. It's the F&B service staff which assists you over there. And there is also one more aspect of F&B service, which is the in-room dining, which is very, very popular again. If you do not wish to come down to the restaurant to eat, you can order in your room 24/7. And there is a separate department which is called in-room dining under the F&B service department. So that is also taken care of by F&B service, F&B production, and housekeeping again comes into the picture here because the cleaning aspect is taken care of by the housekeeping. Moving ahead, we have event spaces, and event spaces is basically the banquet spaces, the meeting rooms where conferences happen. That again is taken care of by F&B service, F&B food production, and housekeeping department. And lastly, the wellness, which is the spa, as well as the gym. So that falls under the wellness aspect of the hotel. Gym, some of the pictures Shunit did show you about the gym. It depends on the category of the hotel. If it's a very luxurious hotel, it's going to be a bigger gym. If it's a budget hotel, the gym size is going to be small, but there will always be an instructor in the gym. There will be a pool in most cases in all hotels. Again, category-wise, the number of pools differ, and there will be an assistant at the pool as well. Certain hotels do offer the facility of a salon as well as spa. So that depends on the luxury brands.
So just to jump in here for a second, what we will showcase from here is a little bit on the three major departments, right?
Departments.
We're looking at front office, housekeeping, and F&B service. We're not only looking at it from the point of view of a hotel. Of course, what we'll share with you is, the experience is more generated from a hotel, but the applicability of the knowledge and skills over here apply across many, many subsectors of the industry. So if somebody actually understands a little bit more about these areas, the number of options of their opportunities are limitless, I would say. So Swati, back to
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. So the main department, one of the major departments of hotel industry or service hospitality industry is front office, and they are the first point of contact. They are known as the face of the hotel. As you can see in the pictures, when you walk inside a hotel, they are the first people who welcome you. They take your check-in at the time of checkout. They help you assist you with the car or airport transfers, as well as pickup, arrange for city tour. So they are the first point of contact. Anything goes wrong in your room or something is not as per your expectation, you have to contact front office department. And not only in hotels, it's also in facility management companies that they employ a lot of front office personnel as the first point of contact for the corporate offices. So this department plays a very important role and is useful if you do possess those skills and qualities of a front office personnel. It helps you to get employed in any area in any functions. Moving
Yeah,
ahead.
if you're a people person, this is the right place. You will
Yeah,
thoroughly enjoy working with this, because the types of people that you get to interact with, Indians, foreigners, people from all across, this is something that you will really enjoy, and you never know, you might even walk into celebrity.
celebrities. Yeah. Like we were discussing, I think MS Dhoni found his wife through, which was even depicted in his biopic movie. So his wife was working at the Taj, I believe, at Aurangabad. She was training there. And that's how they met the very first time. So, yeah, you never know who you bump into.
Yeah.
So housekeeping is the most important department, second most important department. It takes care of the hygiene, cleanliness, sanitation, not only of the rooms, guest rooms, as well as the public areas. They are responsible for cleaning the rooms, ensuring that the room is absolutely comfortable, so that the guest feels at home even though they are away from home, and they take care of each and every aspect of cleanliness as well as hygiene. So again, a very, very important, they are actually the backbone of the hotel industry, without which no other department can function. And not only for the rooms, but they are equally important for the upkeep for the entire public area, as well as the restaurants and food production area, spa, wellness center, everything. Moving ahead, F&B service again plays a very important role in the hospitality industry. As all of you may have experienced going to restaurant, eating at the restaurant of various kinds. These are the guys who are always there. They are servicing you with a big smile. So the qualities that you need to know here is you should be able to remember the menu and should be able to do suggestive selling. You should be good at handling payments. Various kinds of payment methods are there, so you should be comfortable handling that, as well as taking orders, remembering orders, and placing the right orders for the guests, and to be able to service them in a manner that they expect.
And
So
I think before all of that, first and foremost, if you're passionate about food, right, and you're in and around food, and you get to interact with both the chef and the guests, what happens a lot of the times with the with professionals working in the F&B space is that you never know that you may get a request from a guest, you may make a recommendation, and the chef comes up with something new that becomes an icon. You never know. So you do, if you're passionate about food and you like being about around food, this is an ideal place for you. There are a lot of people, over the years that we've interacted with, who love this space because of that. Because they get to be around,
meat.
yeah, and they get to meet guests and give them an experience from food and beverage side, that they come back for time and time again.
And they also, like you said, they are passionate about food. So you're passionate about not just food but also about bringing that smile on the guest's face by being able to service them. So yeah, it just is the best place for someone who loves interacting with people and loves food. And yes, food production. I am sure all of you can recognize this famous personality here. He's one of the most famous chefs in India, Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. And he's inspired so many people to take up this job role in the service hospitality industry. So this is the kitchen department, and they not only cook, they are actually, they create food. Every day, as all of you must be following a lot of chefs on Instagram, they come up with such new food choices and healthy options as well nowadays. So it's a delight and it's a place for someone who loves creating stuff. So, food production, I think, yes, it is a lot of hard work because you're standing over here in the heat. But if you enjoy your food, you love creating different kinds of cuisines and love tasting food, this is the place.
Yeah, whoever loves watching the videos of MasterChef Australia, well, there are 100,000 people who are in the kitchens, who are doing the same kind of work. So it's a good experience. A lot of people really enjoy doing this. S-
So moving ahead, we wanted to discuss about the key skills that are required to be a good hospitality professional. There are a lot of skills. These are some of the main ones that we've highlighted here. And one of the most important is grooming. And it is absolutely close to my heart, especially because, as you can see in the pictures, the candidates over here have been trained in our institutes and their lives have got transformed. On the left, if you can see, these are the candidates when they came to us. And on the right, when they got deployed, started working at different hotels. So it's a transformation and these are not pictures that we've taken from the internet. These are pictures of the candidates that we've transformed their lives through skill development training and the courses that we are here to talk about. So, grooming is extremely important. It's the way you project yourself. In hospitality industry, grooming plays a very important role. You need to project yourself as a professional at all times. From the moment you walk in, the other person should feel that you are a professional. The way you carry yourself, your body language, the way you dress up, basics like your hair should be trimmed for the boys, your nails should be trimmed, your shoes should be shining. I remember a quote from Mr. Oberoi's biography saying that if the candidate or if a person can take care of their shoes, if their shoes are shining, that means they can take care of themselves and then they will be able to take care of my guests. So it's as important as that. That you should be well groomed, not only at the start of your shift, but towards the end of the shift, you should be looking the same and one of the main aspects of grooming is your smile, your body language. You should always have a positive body language, which should communicate that any somebody else should feel that they can approach you. You should be approachable. All right. Who likes to go to a person who's looking grumpy, who's not smiling? Nobody likes to go to that person, right? And I'm sure some of you may have walked into a hotel. Can you remember anyone at the front desk not well groomed? I don't think so because it stands for the reputation of that particular brand, right? So they need to be well groomed. Their uniform should be neat and tidy, crisp, and looking clean at all times. They should be smelling good as well. And smelling is the body fragrance as well as you should be showering every day, at least once, if not twice. So those are basic things that one needs to take care of. And it also boosts your confidence. If you're groomed well, if you're looking good, you will always feel confident.
And I
Then,
think the most the best way to actually showcase that confidence is through communication. Uh,
yes.
Swati, if
Yeah, so
you
communication is one of the other key important things which is there in hospitality industry. Communication plays a major role because how you communicate with your guests, your team members matters a lot. And there are various types of communication, right? There's verbal communication, which is your spoken English, the way you communicate, the tone, the pitch, the speed of your speech, um, you know, how articulate are you, as well as there's a non-verbal aspect and which plays a major role in communication. And the non-verbal aspect is your facial expression, your body language, your gestures. If you're sad or upset, do you show it on your face immediately, or are you able to hide it? In our industry, even though we are tired, we are upset, we are angry, we should never show it to the guest, to the other person. And that's the kind of professionalism one needs to carry with them at all times. Verbal communication also not only is that you should be able to speak confidently in spoken English, you can speak in Hindi as well. But the confidence is what is important, how you carry yourself. All right. And if you can learn another language, a local language, or a foreign language, that would add value to your overall profile. There are various types of communication. Moving ahead is written communication, which plays a important role as you grow up in the ladder. You are supposed to reply back to various emails of the guests. So you should be good at writing emails as well as presentation and at making reports and presenting reports. So as you grow up in the industry, in the ladder, you have to have good communication skills at all levels, not just spoken, but as well as written. And the communication is not only important for the guests, how you communicate with your team members is equally important. So moving ahead, the other skill that is required in this industry is this respect, humility, and politeness. As all of you know, hospitality industry is known for its hospitable nature. Someone who is empathetic, who has a caring nature, who's sensitive, who can think from the other's perspective will stand a better chance to do well in this industry. Okay. So if you like to be treated well, you should always treat others the same way that you want to be treated. Show respect not only to the guest, of course, always at all times to the guest, but also to your team members. And, you know, there are simple words like magical words like please, thank you, and sorry. Use them appropriately whenever required. There's no harm in using that. And these are very simple things which people tend to forget. So do say thank you if somebody has done something for you. Say please if you want something. And say sorry if you are at fault. Do not show any ego. There is You should be humble about whatever you're doing, and then you go a long way. So
And it
these are
makes
some
things
of the key
easier.
skills. Yeah.
And it makes things easier because if you're dealing with a guest or anybody who's having a bad day and they're angry, the best way to resolve that is actually rather than you also getting angry, it's easier if you're a little more on the polite and respectful way, the situation gets solved. And this is something out of experience, especially in operations that we've seen. It really helps. So it allows you in your career path, the more that you're able to exercise this, it really allows you to move up quicker if this is something that comes comfortably.
Yeah, respect is yeah. So I think one of the things about respect is also to wish the other person by the time of the day, whenever you meet someone in the lobby or in the public area, you're passing by, make an eye contact and wish the person. And if you know the name of the person, that's going to add cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other aspects of skills are anticipation and attention to detail. And this plays a very important role because, again, it differentiates the hotel from other hotels, and it helps in creating loyalty and retention and guests coming back. So anticipation basically means that be proactive. Before the guest asks you for something, you should be able to anticipate or see what the guest is going to ask for. Simple example: guest is sitting in in the outlet and eating food, and one of they drop their fork. So before the guest bends down, you run and you pick up the fork and take it away and replace it with a new fork. That's a very simple example.
Another example that I've seen being acted is that, let's say you're working at the restaurant. There's a guest who's been staying for 3 or 4 days, and you notice every day that person likes to have a masala omelette for breakfast. So the following day, after you see that for a day or two, rather than them having to say it again, the moment you walk up to them and just say masala omelette, and they have a smile on
And
their
they
face,
have it.
it
And
just
they know
changes.
exactly what goes in your masala omelette.
Exactly. It changes their entire perception of you. They also feel more connected, and it helps bring back guests again and again, which is great for
Absolutely.
the business.
Another example which I thought, and it actually happened with me. I was visiting a hotel some months back, and I was reading a book. I didn't have a bookmark, okay, and I just left the book with that particular page on the bed. And when I came back to the room, they had actually placed a bookmark with a handwritten note on it. So it was really sweet of them to, do that, show that gesture, that care, that, somebody's reading a book and they put a bookmark, realizing that the person does not have a bookmark. And there are so many more such small, small things that one can do when attention to detail is also that, like it has happened actually with me that I was using a toothpaste and I ran out of my toothpaste in the hotel and they replaced it with the same brand the next morning. So it was like a wow factor that, I didn't have to call housekeeping and ask for the toothpaste. They had already done that before me asking for it. So these are certain small, small things that uh, people do at the hotel and it wows the guests. So, attention to detail also goes if you know that guest is coming and it's their 50th birthday, you find out every detail possible that may help you create memories for them, create a wow moment for them, and know about their preferences, about the room temperature, about, what is it that they like in food, what is it that they don't like, what kind of tea do they like, so you can put those things in the room or place those orders in the restaurants whenever they are visiting. So these are small small things one
It,
must do.
it sounds like a lot, but luckily hotels have a back-end system which allow you to make notes.
Yes,
You
and
can
that's
so you can refer to that, so you don't have to keep it all on memory. But the good part about this is that the more comfortable you are with these aspects, and the more you get along with guests, it actually allows you better opportunities in luxury brands, because that's something they really specialize on. And it allows you to actually get a lot more interest from international brands as well, because these are two factors which they're really focused on. There are a number of Indian brands as well which really outdo themselves on these fronts. But
absolutely.
this is something which is very key to the hospitality service industry as compared to others where there is a service angle as well.
And this is very key to us hospitality industry in India, I would
Yeah,
say. So
yeah.
whenever we've traveled abroad, nobody does these extra things. They don't go out of their way to wow the guests. For them, it's like, yes, you've come, you stay, it's okay. But it's very specific to Indian hospitality. Yeah, so knowledge of the brand and teamwork. Again, teamwork is essential in all industries. However, it is most essential in hospitality industry because no one team can make a memorable stay for the guests. They cannot work alone to ensure that the guest has had a good time. So from the time the guest checks in, all departments are working together. That is front office, housekeeping, F&B service, food production, security, as well as engineering, wellness. Everyone is working hand in hand in order to ensure that the guest who has come and stayed at the hotel has a wonderful stay. And if there is anything that the guest is feeling not comfortable about or has any issues, it is the responsibility of that department who comes to know of it first to inform the other department. So communication again plays a very important role here. You must communicate to the other department. So it's not only about teamwork within your department, it is intra-department teamwork also, which is extremely important in hotel industry.
And the
So
other factor to take into consideration is your department doesn't mean it's just those five people that you're working with, because a hotel works 24/7, right? So there are shifts of the same department, but double the number of people. So, between your own department, there are multiple sets, and across other departments, there are also multiple sets. So, it's a very interesting dynamic over there. And in terms of how teamwork happens, it's compared to other standard corporate jobs, where you sit in front of your laptop and you're kind of working the whole day. This is far more dynamic. And especially if you're a people person, this is an ideal place for you, because you really, really thoroughly enjoy dealing with guests as well as with, your teams. Um, when we are looking at the brand side of it, I'm sorry, Swati, I'd like to jump in on this, but when we're looking at the brand side of it, when it comes to knowledge from a brand standpoint, um, every different hotel companies have different brands, and brands represent a bunch of different things. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if you look at Marriott as an example, right? They have 30 brands under them. They have some brands like Westin, which is associated with wellness and fitness. They have some brands like the W, which is associated with partying. There are some brands, and the new brand which has come to India as well, Moxie, that's also associated with that. There are some brands which are associated with very high tier luxury, like the St. Regis and the Ritz Carlton and even the JW. So if you know what your brand is about and you really associate with that, you'll find that it won't feel like a job. Almost it'll feel like being at home, and you're basically enacting what you feel. You're just talking to guests and getting them excited about the experience that you and your team are going to give them, because this is something you feel very strongly about. So having that knowledge of the brand and actually being able to resonate with it gives a lot of opportunities. And honestly, the more brands you work with, over time, you actually get varied perspectives, because a lot of brands do things differently, right? So let's say, for example, if you're looking at a check-in process, right? mo- Certain basics will be common, but the manner in which it's done, it differs. If you go to a Taj, or if you go to an Oberoi or a Leela or a Marriott, or let's say even a Four Seasons, the type of check-in varies. How people will talk to you, or if you get a refreshing drink while you just walked
yeah,
into the hotel.
while you go to Goa, you're served with a beer. So yeah,
So, having knowledge of this allows two things. One, it helps you work where you're working, but more importantly, in the larger picture of it, currently what's happening in India is that there is a huge, huge, huge growth in the hospitality industry, and basically in within the next 5 to 7 years, the number of hotels that exist right now is going to double, and the type of brands that are coming in are unique. Like I mentioned, Moxie, which is one of the newer brands, that we'll see in the country. Conceptually very different. It's not like a standard hotel. So there are a lot of opportunities which are coming, both from a traditional side as well as from a new side, and there are a lot more destinations which are also opening up. So the type of opportunities which are coming across now is significantly larger than what it was, say, 5 years ago. It's an industry which is growing so significantly right now in the next 5 to 7 years that it'll look much, much larger than it was before. And we hope that y'all anyone who's interested here might explore the opportunity to join hands with the industry, because there are a lot of opportunities which would allow you to grow quickly, and you never know the kind of doors it may open.
absolutely.
So thank you. If Romit, if there are any queries.
Thank you, Shunit. Thank you, Swati. Um, yes, I'll open up the floor now for questions. Please, participants, if you type your questions in the chat, I'll read them out one by one. There was one question earlier from Nishi Prabha, who asks, which skills are required in the finance department in the hospitality industry?
Swati,
So
would you like to go first?
yeah. So in the finance department, of course, accounting knowledge, good command over your math, and because you will be dealing with balance sheets and even if you've had some exposure to the operations department, that would help you. So core competency would be your accounting knowledge as well as some amount of knowledge in the operations.
So there are a number of sub areas within the finance departments that come into play. So it depends on the type of knowledge that you have. There are some which are very specific to payroll. There are some which are specific to vendors, and there are, of course, some which kind of move into the corporate side where you're dealing with entity transactions. So it really depends on which area you're specifically looking at. But as Swati synopsized, I think having a basics your basics of accounting in place, very important. And of course, I think with the number of teams that you'll also be working with within this organization, from a teamwork angle, that's something that really helps. And communications, of course, these are the three main skills that would really help.
Thanks, Shunit and Swati. Um, the next question I have is, what should I do if I want to join the tourism department, or maybe the tourism class of hotels, maybe what he's speaking about?
Right. There are programs which are related to the tourism side, which are available on the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council side. Those are shorter term programs, but again, it really depends on the specifics of tourism. So there are a lot of sub areas over there, which I mean, you could look at it as, let's say, somebody who's organizing safaris, but tourism could also be tour guides for cities, which there are. I mean, Calcutta used to have one of those where they would do a tram tourism for foreigners. I think that has stopped now, but they would basically take people in a tram and go from certain spots which are very famous and very old. So it really depends on exactly what it is you're specifying on the tourism side, because it's very big. The number of opportunities and potential opportunities are huge. So I would first recommend do a little bit of homework, Google a little bit to understand specifics, and then it's easier to get it. But similar to what we had showcased through the presentation, and what we think, communications very important either way, because you'll have to deal with a lot of type of people. So that's the most primary skill that I feel would apply here.
Thanks, Shinit. We actually have one more question from Nishi Prabha, who asked the earlier question about the finance department.
Yeah.
And I would like to say I'm happy that the kind of questions we're getting are like this, because this is what the platform is about, right? It's about employability in specific domains. So
Right.
she asks, actually tomorrow I have an interview with JW Marriott. So how best can I prepare for this?
Swati, would you like to take that?
So, Nishi, firstly, all the best to you. So, you need to study about the organization that you're appearing for. So, you specified it's JW, but you need to read about the Marriott International, how it all started, and about the JW brand, specifics about the location that you're applying and the department that you're applying for. Of course, if you are applying in finance, is what I gather, then read about their previous couple of years, study about how they have performed, number of rooms they have, what is the kind of sales they've done, how many restaurants do they have, so that you have a fair understanding about the hotel. And of course, brush up your basic skills and your accounting and finance, whatever you've studied. You should be confident about talking about why you're wanting to apply to that job role, and where do you see yourself 5 years from there on. So you should be able to aim that as well. So wish you all the best. I'm sure you will do well.
Thank you, Swati. Um, One more question, which is any course that we can join online, that we can join as online mode for tourism. Or maybe
Uh,
basically talking about online courses, I think, for tourism, which
so
I
I
think we can speak about. Yes.
Yeah, I think specific to tourism, as you were saying, I'm not too sure of what to recommend, but I think as a starting point, you can definitely check out the courses that we have on the Swayam Plus platform. I think that would give a little bit of insight as to certain skills, certain avenues that can be explored. But when it comes to some, as I said, tourism is a very, very large sector. So I think a little bit of homework may need to be done of exactly what you're looking for, and then you could explore those courses. But as a starting point, you're most welcome to check out on the Swayam Plus platform the courses that are available. I
Thanks,
hope
Shunit.
I answered that.
Yeah, thank you, Shunit. I think the questions seem to have concluded, but we have got some thank yous on the chat. So on that note, if there are no further questions, then I would like to say thank you to Shunit and Swati. It was a very enlightening session indeed. A big thank you to all the participants for attending and actively participating with your questions. I request you to register on Swayam Plus and follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are also on YouTube, where the recording of this video shall be uploaded for your future reference. And we posted the links on the chat. You can go back and get access to the social media channels. Thank you all once again, and
Thank you.
wish you a very good evening and a happy learning journey with Swayam Plus.
And if anyone has any additional specific queries, they're most welcome to reach out to us through social media. We'd be very happy to address them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All the best.